Hey everybody, welcome back to my Eurovision React Review channel. So obviously we now have all the 40 songs for Eurovision 2022. So we're in this kind of interesting lull moment, which I'm sure will be filled with a multitude of things, revamps, music videos, etc, etc. But what I've been thinking the last few days is basically doing this video. So the title should hopefully kind of inform you what I'm going to talk about. And I'm going to talk about the 10 reasons why I'm very, 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 very proud of Sam Ryder and the fact that Sam Ryder and his song Spaceman is representing the United Kingdom. Now, a lot of you would have seen my initial reaction, and I want to stress, it was an initial reaction. It was the first time I ever heard it. How many times do we absolutely fall in love with songs on initial listen? Now, firstly, I would like to respond to a few things. Number one, I am British. Hopefully the accent identifies that. Evidence. My old passport, which I've recently, it's the EU one. They've clicked it at the bottom. I've just got it renewed to the non-EU one. I'm not allowed to say anything because that's too political, but nonetheless, I promise I'm British. Second of all, I promise I'm patriotic. So, I mean, not like it's good evidence, but I was trying to think, what evidence could I give to show I'm patriotic? So basically my outfit of choice at my Eurovision party in 2018 before I moved to India, and then me trying to look like Alex Lark from Electro Velvet in 2015 regarding my outfit of choice for, Eurovision 2015. Preview party that I held for that year. Anyway, let me get into... Okay, before I do this, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and be like, wow, it's amazing, it rocks my world. That's not what this is about. This is acknowledging the fact that I've listened to it a few times, and yes, I do like it. But again, we're at that kind of point where we're wanting some clarity in regards to our own personal kind of top 40, etc, etc. And right now, I don't think it is in my top 10. It's probably not in my top 15. But regardless, I'm going to do the patriotic thing, but the genuine and honest thing about telling you 10 reasons why, as a British passport holder, why I'm super proud of the UK's entry this year. So number 10, and I think probably for me the least important, is the fact that it's clearly a competitive song. So the betting odds have it in 4th place, and obviously we know, take that with a pinch of salt. Obviously Malta completely nailed the betting odds last year, and it didn't come to fruition for them. But it would seem the general consensus is that there is wind behind this song. I only downloaded today the Eurovision Score app thing that I've seen. I need to kind of engage with it. I was hoping to look at the community rankings to see where it ranks amongst Eurovision fans, but I can assume it's top 10. Maybe someone can confirm that for me in the comments when I post this video. But ultimately, the UK is sending a song which people are talking about in the realms of doing extremely well. Now, for a Brit who's had to sit through results year on, year out, and particularly when they move to actually verbally, not actually saying the names of countries unless they're 8, 10 or 12, I think it is, to not hear the United Kingdom for an hour and a half is really hard. Yes, we might see a few points flying here and there, like a 1 or a 2, but the fact that I'm possibly going to be hearing jury spokespeople saying the words United Kingdom is extremely exciting for me. So number 10, the reason why the reason why I'm proud and excited about Sam Ryder and Spaceman this year is it's evidently got some wind behind it in regards to potentially being a favourite. Number 9 is the fact that he evidently has international support.
Time. I mean, you're absolutely huge on TikTok. 3.5 million followers. How do you manage all that?
Oh gosh, it's.
And are you relying on those votes?
I mean, I hope so. I hope they can help me out.
I think they will.
They can't if they're in this country.
So I knew that obviously he was a TikTok star, but I didn't think I knew the gravitas of that. I didn't know the reach of his audience, and it's a massive audience and it's an international audience. So as a result of that, he has international followers. So therefore, the kind of semi-hype, or moreover the kind of genuine excitement, even if we look at the betting odds, would seem to be vindicated slightly with his massive fan base. So as a result of that, I don't think this is hype. I think there are people out there internationally who clearly like him and the person that he is, and as a result of that, potentially fans in Eurovision countries that are able to vote for us potentially will pick up the phone because they have followed Sam for a while. And actually, when was the last time we sent someone where they, like, people would have heard who they are before the show? Bonnie Tyler? Bonnie Tyler, maybe? So that's my number 9 reason why I'm super proud and super excited. Number 8 is the fact that we have a song that seems to unite UK Eurovision fans. Yeah, I'd kind of forgotten that there were some passionate UK Eurovision fans until obviously I posted my initial reaction. But no, historically, I've been part of Facebook groups of UK fans, and historically, every time the song drops, there's the people like me being like, oh, yay, like, yeah, let's get behind this. This is all right. Like, or, you know, this is a step up. This is a step up in the right direction. And there's others being like, like, absolutely, what's the BBC doing? We have like one of the best music industries in the world, and we're sending this rubbish. And then as a result, UK Eurovision fans over the years have internally imploded. So the 8th reason why I'm super proud and super excited is the fact we have a song that seems to, as far as I can see on the surface level, unite Eurovision fans, even if it's in the comments of my initial reaction video where everyone seems to be in sync about their thoughts of this song. So for harmony amongst UK Eurovision fans, that's the 8th reason why I'm proud and excited about our entry. The 7th reason why I'm proud and super excited about our entry, but more proud, is he clearly knows what he's letting himself in for. So yeah, he knows what he's getting himself in for, and I think that's the famous quote, like, whilst he evidently has fear, and why wouldn't you have fear? Ultimately, his excitement, his passion overrides that fear. And I love the fact that he's obviously made a conscious choice to take part this year. So he's evidently gone away and thought about it. So I think based on that interview, what I could gather is he's in the right mental space before he gets to Turin. And that is a good thing for him and for us as the United Kingdom. Number 6 is just acknowledging the fact that he is evidently a lovely guy.
And every year, as a nation, we send our Eurovision hopeful off there to try and do the thing. Last year it was James Newman, says the Embers.
Yeah.
You know, off you go, James, amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, God, he's coming back with nothing.
Lovely guy, by the way. I was
Yeah.
fortunate to write a song with James. So funny. And such a light of a human being. And
I've managed to follow him on Instagram, and the videos that he puts up, it is very evident that he's a really warm and loving and lovely guy. And yeah, who wouldn't want their artist going to Eurovision who happens to be an ambassador of your country, embodying all of those things? So yes. Number 5, I mean, he's clearly hilarious.
You wrote Spaceman a year ago.
yes,
So you're going in with Spaceman. How confident are you?
I'm as confident as I could possibly be. I'm going to be ready. Joe Wick's going to hook me up with a meal plan, aren't you, Joe? Yeah. Joe?
I've managed to see some other TikTok videos as well that basically shows that he's got a great sense of humour. If you don't know who Joe Wicks is, he's the fitness guy that got a lot of the UK through the initial lockdown. At the end of the day, he's a funny guy, and we know that humour in the press centre at Eurovision wins over the press. So for that reason, that is another reason why I'm both proud and excited that Sam Ryder will be representing the UK in 2022. Number 4, which necessarily leads on from number 5, is the fact that he's evidently going to interview really well in Turin.
It's a very good song. Now,
Thank
you've
you
been
so
watching
much,
the Eurovision since you were a young girl.
Yes.
Who have you had any previous
Oh,
favourites?
Lordy. Do
Lordy.
you remember Lordy?
There you go. So
You can't see his battle axe in shot, but it's there.
what about any others?
Duncan Lawrence was amazing. Year before
was that?
last, he did the song Arcade, which is amazing.
I actually enjoy watching the press centre interviews after they do their rehearsals and actually see how they hold up with the questions, because now and again they will be asked a question, or they will get questions that basically quiz their Eurovision knowledge. Now, he has professed many times, I don't think he said a fan, I think he just says he loves the contest. And I always warm to artists when in those interviews they clearly show a respect, love, but also knowledge of the contest as well. So I've always questioned some of our artists in the past in regards to their knowledge of the show. Like, why are you doing it then? And there are obviously a million reasons why you do Eurovision. You don't have to do it, or I'm sure a lot of people don't do it because of their love for the show. But I always warm to artists who know what they're talking about with Eurovision. And so for that reason alone, I think, I think he's going to do really, really well in his interviews. And I think the press in the press centre are going to fall in love with this guy. Number 3, there was something he said in the interview that really caught my eye.
What makes? I mean, I think if we could only find a formula to this, other than the fact that I think the vast amount of them don't like us, but that aside, what makes the fundamental foundation of a good Eurovision song?
I think there's an element of, I mean, we could talk about staging and the song itself, the performance on the night. Ultimately, I think a huge amount, we need to focus on the positivity at home. I mean, think about it in this way. If you were going on TV for the first time ever and the people that, your friends and family are kind of like, yeah, no one really likes that TV show, Phil. I don't know if you're going to do well, but good luck anyway. You're going to walk onto that show and feel a bit like you're not going to be yourself. You're not going to be in the flow. I think we have a lot to answer for in just rallying and getting behind and radiating that.
Oh, believe me.
Light.
So yeah, obviously being a UK Eurovision fan, like, it's quite interesting, being part of a country whereby at the end of the day, you can't say we don't love the contest. I mean, it does range, between 7 and 10 million on a Saturday night viewing. That's quite a lot. Like, in comparison, like, I don't think that statistic is wrong. I've seen, obviously, facts and statistics that come out of countries like France. Like, I would say a large proportion of the British audience watch Eurovision compared to, let's say, France. So there is evidently a love for the contest, but maybe for a lot of people for the wrong reasons. But ultimately, the fact that he's saying, that we have, and everyone knows this, the kind of British public, the British attitude towards Eurovision needs shaking up, and it's going to take more than Sam Ryder. It's going to take more than 2022, and maybe a successful result will get people kind of and maybe as on the back of this, Sam Ryder kind of becoming, he's obviously internationally very well known amongst a lot of circles, but if he comes out of this like an international record-selling artist, then maybe people in the UK won't perceive the show to be kind of a gimmicky camp festival, which, don't get me wrong, there are huge elements of that. I don't think the general British consciousness are aware of how successful Måneskin has become as a result of Eurovision. I think if you ask the average British person, I don't think they'd be aware of the fact that Måneskin is absolutely killing it in the States. I don't think that's that would be true. So as a result of that, I still don't think we understand kind of what this contest can do for an artist, and moreover how artists can use this platform to jump into international success. So we know this as British Eurovision fans, we know that the British public needs a change of attitude, mentality and perspective on this contest. And like I said, I don't think Sam Ryder going there is going to necessarily do that, but saying these sort of things on this program, which is watched by a fair few people, and then obviously kind of taking that mantra with him in his interviews with British and international press, maybe we'll start doing something. And if he does do really well, then it could shake things up in the UK and how the general UK public perceive this contest. Number 2 kind of crosses over with other things that I've said, but number 2 relates to a particular Instagram video that I saw where he basically told the world that he was going to Eurovision.
Hi, I'm Sam Ryder, and I am the UK entry to Eurovision 2022. I am so excited. I'm dead
That
serious.
video was so unbelievably heartwarming. I saw Brooke in Ireland win, and you could see that she was so overwhelmed because she was really excited about going to Eurovision. It wasn't about necessarily, well, what I could gather, it wasn't about kind of national pride. I mean, that's obviously a huge element of it. It wasn't about kind of being able to kind of promote that single inside Ireland. It wasn't about kind of the ability to promote that single outside into Europe and maybe get some sort of commercial success from it. She professed to loving Eurovision, and for her, you could see when she won the kind of realization that she's going to Eurovision, and that's amazing. For a Eurovision fan to see that's great. You know, when it comes to artists representing countries, that kind of wins it for me. But when an artist has that kind of mentality, and when I watched that video, I was like, oh, you're really excited about going to Eurovision. It's not about necessarily, representing your country on the national stage. I think you're just very excited to be part of this complete circus that we all love, which is Eurovision. So for that reason, I'm hugely proud and excited that Sam Ryder is representing us. And of course, last but not least, the elephant in the room, that voice. Obviously became a TikTok star because of that voice. And when I did my initial reaction, a lot of people said in the comments, I'll check out his piano version and, you know, he can sing live and stuff like that. I assumed he would be able to sing live anyway. But yeah, to be able to, I think I've seen 3 different occasions of him singing live. One in Bulgaria randomly. Not randomly, but that completely escaped me that he was on some daytime TV show or evening show in Bulgaria promoting his song. Dude can sing live. And, you know, when it comes to Eurovision, that's normally the crux. Even with a kind of average song, if you've got good vocals, you tend to do okay. There's nothing, I think it's the opposite, which is the issue if you've got a great song and you struggle to deliver vocally. But he's going to Turin with the full confidence himself, but also everyone around him, that he's going to nail this live performance. So I remember, what year was it? Was it Blue 2011? Where I remember seeing, was it 2011? Some of the rehearsals, and Lee from Blue was vocally shaky, and I remember not being able to enjoy that performance because when it actually came to the final, because I was sat there being like, are you going to get through this? And yeah, luckily he did. I'm not nervous about this live performance. I'm excited, and I'm going to be sat there on that sofa and I'm going to enjoy those 3 minutes. And like I said, regardless of whether it's in my top 10 or my top 15, you know, at the end of the day, it is a song that people are loving, sung by a dude who evidently is wicked. I don't know if that's going to translate well by saying wicked, Shane. That's awesome. And who's going to sing the house down. So why would I not be proud? So yeah, that's why I'm really happy that Sam Ryder is representing the UK. And there's not someone in the corner with a gun to my head. It's true. And I think part of the reason why I wanted to also do this video is it's okay if you're not in love with your song. Like, I love it in comments where people from those countries be like, it wasn't my favorite, but you know, I'm happy it's going. It's going to represent our culture really well, or they're going to be great ambassadors for our country. You know, all of those things are valid. Like, just because you're from that country doesn't mean you have to fall in love with that song. And I think as Eurovision fans, we're so lucky that we just love the contest, that ultimately we're not clouded by that kind of patriotism or nationalism that we have to like our country and it has to be our kind of number one. We can be proud of our entry and we can support our entry to the hilt, but we don't have to basically say it's our favourite. But also we don't have to turn around and say, because it's not my favourite, I don't want it to win. I don't think any British Eurovision fan would say that. The opportunity to watch Eurovision being hosted in the UK would be a dream come true for me. But yeah, I'm rambling now. So yeah, those are my thoughts. So yeah, I don't necessarily need to invite people to comment below because a lot of people have already informed me what they think of Sam Ryder and the UK song this year in my previous initial reaction. But yeah, feel free to leave a comment if you wish. And yeah, if you haven't subscribed already, please do. Click the notification button so you're informed if and when I post videos. And yeah, until next time, stay safe.